or good morning. It is my distinct pleasure to welcome you all to the inaugural conference towards a green Indian financial system, part of a joint multi-stakeholder initiative by Agence Française de Développement, or French Development Agency, Small Industries Development Bank of India, and Shakti Sustainable Energy Foundation.
Happy to be here amongst our friends. India's commitment towards climate-related actions have been reaffirmed during the recent climate summit held at Glasgow, wherein our Honorable Prime Minister shared India's commitment to mitigate climate changes by achieving a net zero carbon emission by 2070.
What Prime Minister Modi said about carbon neutrality, about the journey towards decarbonation of the Indian economy. Of course, fully aware of the social challenges and the economic issues at hand, completely changed the mood in Glasgow.
So one of the major risks, climate risks within financial institution is the transition risk. If you can tell the audience about India's plan for transition to a low carbon and net zero future.
The actions that India has been taking very consistently, being fully cognizant of the need to take advance action on many climate related issues.
At this stage, it was clearly not as fancy as it may be today. And it was a realization by the various institutions involved that these questions were very important questions, but also very difficult questions, and that we would make progress faster if we came together to find the solutions together.
And we need to provide right kind of economic incentives to financial institutions, to creditors and to lenders that certain kind of costs are associated with carbon emitting sectors. The funds can be directed towards those sources where carbon mitigation strategies that government is trying to employ in this country can turn out to be more effective. I mean, quicker results can be obtained.
Greening the financial sector, meaning not only fostering the funding of the green activities, but mainstreaming climate across the whole of the financial sector is truly a whole of government endeavor.
Let's start with the first part, where I want us to discuss the inclusion of climate-related risk in the financial system.
So overall, to sum up, Reserve Bank would be looking at building its in-house capacity on climate risk, generating awareness of climate-related risks among regulated entities, integrating the climate-related risks into financial stability monitoring, and exploring forward-looking tools like climate scenario analysis and stress testing for assessing climate-related risks.
Who need to be fully conscious of the impact, and they also need to make sure that they are trusted advisors to our clients in terms of what action they need to take for climate change. Also, as a regulated entity, we have our responsibilities. I think in terms of direction of travel, things are very clear. In terms of what the regulator would want to see also over a period of time, I think it's very clear. So it is for us to make sure that we are proactive in preparing ourselves to what is inevitable change.
There is a risk, or there is a tendency, not a risk, there's a tendency for regulators globally, and rightly so, to be focused first and foremost on financial stability. After all, that is critical. And so getting to grips with and making sure that we do everything possible to ensure the stability of the financial system in the face of rising risk from climate change is admittedly of paramount importance.
In order to fully succeed, there was a need to create a sustainability reporting environment that would be able to create the flows of information to the financial system.
How far do you think the BRSR framework serves the purpose of greening Indian finance or intermediating more finance to green sectors through capital markets or overall the financial system?
The climate component is definitely there with a lot of mandatory disclosures, which are going to definitely help the company not only project itself as a environmental ESG friendly company. At the same time, help the investors to find out the company where they can find ESG value before taking investment decisions.
See, the TCFD, they have more relevance to the banks and the financial institutions. Focuses more specifically on climate risk and climate-related financial disclosures. 4 pillars on which the TCFD works: the governance, the strategy, the risk management, and the metrics and targets, which has been very clearly defined in the TCFD policy.
In the EU, we have indeed taken major steps to build a sustainable finance ecosystem, and our EU taxonomy is clearly a central piece of this EU sustainable finance ecosystem.
Start small, start voluntarily, build that cohort of institutions which lead, and then people will follow, both in terms of voluntary action as well as, I think, regulation. And regulation will play a major role in making this mainstream.
So if your next investment is happening on a new energy, new technology, e-vehicle and all sorts of environment-friendly technologies, how do you decide and what should be the rate of interest? If you can provide some concession, accelerate the technology and reduce your NPA, why not? So all this will really get enabled if you have a very excellent framework of rating agency doing their job accurately and fantastically.
There is an overwhelming acknowledgement of climate change, inevitability of climate change. That's one, which affects all our lives and which, importantly for this session, affects the financial sector.
It's a great initiative to bring all of you and so much expertise around the table. More like the beginning of a process of exchanges that are going to continue all throughout 2022 between Indian and French experts. The 3-hour conference can really exhaust such an important topic.